the price you chose before you ever saw it. People think they choose based on logic. They don't. They choose based on the first number that touches their mind, even if that number is a trap. Marketing departments don't guess prices, they plant them. A high price to scare you, a low price to insult you, and a middle price to catch you. Not because the middle option is better, because it feels safer. Anchoring is not persuasion, it's calibration. You aren't comparing products, you're comparing numbers you were trained to react to. The first number you see becomes the reference point your brain can't escape. You think you're choosing freely, but you're choosing within the frame they built for you. If your mind replayed the time you picked the reasonable option, if you felt a strange discomfort realizing how predictable you were, that wasn't coincidence, that was anchoring. And your next decision is already waiting to be shaped.
Number 10. The first number hijacks your brain before you think. Anchoring begins before evaluation. He once walked into a store and saw a jacket for $900. He didn't plan to buy it. He didn't even like it. But minutes later, a $300 jacket felt like a bargain. Nothing changed but the reference point. Anchoring works because the brain uses shortcuts. The first number becomes the mental anchor, and all later numbers are judged relative to it. This isn't intelligence. This is vulnerability. Human trigger? The first number wins the battle before the decision even begins. Emotion shift? Recognition to unease. You didn't resist the $300. You surrendered to the $900.
Number 9. The middle option isn't the best one. It's the engineered one. When 3 options appear, cheap, middle, premium, your brain doesn't compare value. It compares risk. The cheap one feels unsafe. The premium one feels excessive. The middle one feels balanced. Manufacturers design it that way. The middle price isn't the compromise. It's the target. It's created so you feel smart choosing it, so you feel responsible, so you feel rational. The truth? It's the most profitable one. Human trigger. You weren't choosing freely, you were choosing predictably. Emotion shift. Unease to doubt. You didn't choose the middle option, you reacted to the extremes.
Number 8. High prices exist to manipulate perception, not purchases. Luxury items aren't priced to sell, they're priced to anchor. He saw a watch once, $12,000. He laughed, walked away, and bought another for $800. But the $800 watch only felt reasonable because of the $12,000 one. Anchoring doesn't rely on affordability, it relies on shock. The higher the anchor, the safer the middle looks. Human trigger. Expensive items aren't designed for buyers, they're designed for believers. Emotion shift. Doubt into suspicion. You didn't choose the affordable option, you were softened by the impossible one.
Number 7. Your brain assumes the middle option means average quality. Anchoring exploits a deeper cognitive bias, the assumption of symmetry. We think the middle represents fairness, moderation, balanced quality. He remembered choosing a subscription plan, 3 tiers, 3 colors, 3 promises. He didn't know the difference, but the middle tier felt normal. That feeling wasn't logic, it was statistical illusion. The brain assuming middle equals moderate. But companies rig the middle tier to extract maximum profit with minimum backlash. Human trigger? The brain confuses middle with reasonable.
Emotion shift, suspicion to alarm. You didn't choose balance. You chose the illusion of it.
Number 6. Anchoring works even when you know it's happening. Knowledge doesn't break the anchor. He read about anchoring years before he walked into an electronics store. He knew the tactic. Show a $3,000 TV first to make the $1,200 one look like a deal. He recognized it. He even smirked. And then he bought the $1,200 TV. Awareness didn't save him. Because anchoring doesn't hijack logic, it hijacks perception. The question isn't, what do I want, but what does this feel like compared to the anchor? Human trigger. The anchor is the lens you don't notice wearing. Emotion shift. Alarm to disbelief. You weren't smarter than the tactic. You were framed by it.
Number 5. Anchoring turns your fear of regret into loyalty. Manipulators don't target desire. They target regret. Retail psychology shows people don't choose what makes them happy. They choose what feels safe from future disappointment. Anchoring exploits the fear of choosing too cheap and regretting it later, or choosing too expensive and feeling foolish. The middle option protects against both fears, a psychological insurance policy. Human trigger. Anchoring doesn't guide your desire, it protects your insecurity. Emotion shift, disbelief, into tension. You didn't choose wisely, you chose defensively.
Number 4. Anchoring shrinks your world to the options they want you to see. Anchoring doesn't influence decisions, it limits them. 3 options feel free, but they're a cage. He remembered comparing 3 service plans, thinking he was evaluating the entire market. He wasn't. He was evaluating only what the company wanted him to consider. Anchoring works because people stop asking, what's missing? Where are the alternatives? Why only these 3? Human trigger. Anchoring is strongest when you forget the outside world exists. Emotion shift. Tension to chill. You didn't choose from the market. You chose from the trap. Number 3. Anchoring manipulates the feeling of fairness. Fairness is emotional, not logical. Anchoring exploits the emotional instinct to avoid extremes. People rarely choose the cheapest. People rarely choose the most expensive. The middle option feels like a negotiation between the self and the environment. But fairness here is artificial. The extremes are engineered to steer you toward the intended fair outcome. Human trigger? Perceived fairness is easier to control than actual value. Emotion shift, chill to collapse. You weren't being fair, you were being guided. Number 2. Anchoring works because you think you're immune. Every person believes they make rational choices. That belief is the flaw. Anchoring works best on people who think they can't be manipulated. Confidence becomes vulnerability. He once laughed while watching friends fall for pricing traps, all while falling for them himself. Anchoring doesn't require ignorance, it requires ego. Human trigger. The illusion of immunity is the perfect anchor point. Emotion shift. Collapse to awareness. You weren't immune, you were ideal. Number 1. You choose the middle because someone designed you to. Anchoring ends with the illusion of autonomy. You choose the middle because it feels like your independent judgment. But that judgment was engineered long before you touched the product. Anchoring is a chain reaction. Shock at the high price, distrust of the low one, safety in the middle, relief in balance, confidence in rationality. By the time you act, your mind is following a script. Human trigger. Anchoring doesn't control your choice. It controls what your choice feels like. Emotion shift, awareness to quiet shock. You didn't choose the middle chose you.
The decision you make after the decision. Think of the last time you picked the middle, not because it was best, but because it felt safe. Subscription plans, menus, service packages, tech products, clothes, hotels, insurance, everything. Anchoring wasn't a suggestion. It was an invisible hand guiding your perception before you even realized you were deciding. If a price flashed in your memory, if a purchase now feels suspicious, if you feel a cold clarity about how easily you were steered, that clarity is your real choice. Anchoring doesn't disappear when you understand it, but it weakens. Because the next time you see 3 options, you'll ask, what's the anchor here? What's the trap? What's the hidden profit tier? And that single moment of awareness is enough to break years of unconscious influence. If you're still here, still thinking, still feeling, you are finally choosing. Share this video before someone else chooses the middle, thinking it was their idea.